so as you can see, I've gone through and taken away the blemishes, a few lines under Gemma's eyes here I got rid of. Didn't get rid of all of them right up next to her eye because that started to look artificial. As you can see, I also got rid of the hairs here. You see, if I go back a layer, you'll see that there were actually hairs here, and there was quite a large dark area here, a hair going all the way down to her lip there, and one over here on the left as well. But you see, I've actually got rid of that. They're not there at all now, and that was done with the patch tool. I mentioned the spot healing tool, which is kind of like a patch tool in a sense. And literally, all you have to do with the spot healing tool is just click, and it will do the rest for you. It will. Oops, sorry. It will make the judgment for you as to where it thinks the section that's being covered up, the best pixels within the picture to use to cover it up, or swap it for. For some reason my computer doesn't like this today. Anyway, so yeah, what you do is, let's say we got this one down here. We got can't even see him that close up. We got a couple of little white bits here, which, you know, just lighting and the way it's done. You know, I should have taken more time over the lighting, really. But yeah, you literally just click, wait for a second, and it's gone. Click, gone. Now, the reason I prefer to use the patch tool is because I can't blame a computer if I'm using the patch tool. A spot healing tool, as good as it is, depending on what sort of image you're using, the computer can make errors, and it can start to look a little bit weird and maybe really artificial, or just really like that. Maybe they'll transfer pixels from the eyeball onto the forehead, and you don't want things like that to happen. It's very unlikely, but it can happen. Whereas a patch tool, I've only got myself to blame if the photograph doesn't come out as well as it could. So yeah, so we've got, you see how clean her skin looks now. I did a little bit of patching around here, down by her nostril, but I mean, I haven't put any surface blur on. I haven't done any airbrushing, like real airbrushing, to the photograph, and already she looks brilliant. You know, she looks great. And so what I'll cover now is the airbrushing side of things. Now, this is, unless you've got a lot of experience in it, it can be a very iffy subject to get started in. A lot of beginners think, oh, the more surface blur or the more airbrushing, the better. But if you send those photographs to someone who's been doing it for the majority of their life, or works in that industry day in, day out, you know, it looks really fake and really tacky, and looks like you've just not put any work into your image at all. But what it essentially is I use something called the surface blur. So what I shall do, I shall create a new layer, and I'll come up here to filter, and I'll come down to blur, and I'll go down to the bottom and hit surface blur. Okay, now what will happen, you'll get a little box pop up with a little preview window in where you can actually zoom in or out on your subject, and if you take the box to one side, as you can see, it actually does it to the image as well. Now what you can do is change the strength of the blur. So the radius means that the higher the number, the wider the sort of the halos are, the wider the blur itself will be, the thicker it will be. And threshold is sort of your strength. So if I bring the strength right up to 197, see how it just like completely disappears. And this is how a lot of people use. This is what a lot of people use to create fake artificial bokeh, which is the blurry section in the background of a photograph. In case you didn't know that. But yeah, so you don't want that too strong. You want to play around with it. You know, I mean, it doesn't. It depends all on the photograph. I'd love to be able to give you guys, you know, specific settings to what does what, but you can't. You know, it's all dependent on the photograph. So there's mine, like that, and I'll just take it away from you. Take it away from you. Take it away from the photograph. Try and really focus in on the difference, and then if I input the surface blur, and there we go, and you see Her skin's really nice and smooth now, but it's not too heavy. It doesn't look too artificial because I've kept the curves around her nose. I've edited those out. You know, once you've got your surface blur on, you'll see everything will be blurred. Every single bit of the photograph, including the eyes and the nose and the line coming down the nose and the lips and the chin, the neckline, everything. So what you'll need to do is take some time, take your rubber tool, and because you've been creating new layers all the way through this, if you make sure you're selected on the blurred layer, when you delete a section of that blurred layer, the non-blurred layer underneath it will show through, therefore creating, you know, sharpness again. So that's what I do. Make sure you've got all your little dark areas like this around the nose, underneath the eyes a little bit, underneath the neck, the neckline and the chin. You want to make sure they're all visible, and you want to make sure that they're not blurred, because otherwise it will just look like you've put a big blur over a photograph, and you don't want it to look like that. Make sure you delete all the hair. I mean, if you can, I'll zoom in here where I'm pointing now. This layer, you can see where I've actually deleted everything, apart from the face and just under the neck. You can see the pixels behind it. So yeah, so that's very, very basics, very quick way to edit your photographs, and you know, if you're doing portraiture, very nice way to get them really quickly edited, to get them released onto, whether it be, oops, sorry about that, whether it be YouTube or Flickr or anything like that. So I hope you enjoyed it, guys, and make sure you subscribe and comment and rate and stuff, and let me know what you think, and I'll speak to you guys soon. See you later.